morning, good afternoon. It is 2:46. School was out 15 minutes ago. It's my first day back from spring break, and it was rough. I mean, it wasn't rough at school. Just getting here was physically rough. I did much of nothing over spring break in regards to anything. If I didn't have to go anywhere specific or do anything special, didn't really get dressed, anything, like I just rested because I know these next 2 months are gonna be very hectic. And so when I got dressed this morning, I told Taylor it was as if I had muscle memory loss and I couldn't even figure out how to put makeup on my face, how to do my hair. So it just felt like everything took me that much longer. And while I was doing that, my parents were just blowing up my phone with text messages about family logistics, about my mom at work and so on and so forth. And so everything was just slowed down. So by the time I walked out the door, I was already flustered. By 7:28, which is when I left, I was already flustered because I wasn't gonna get here early like I normally like to do. And I was probably gonna be a few minutes late because my contract time is 7:30, and I think I got here at like 7:33 or something. And I just hate coming to work in that condition. Luckily, I'm disciplined enough where I just about always have my slide ready to start the day, and I only have 10 minutes of class before I have my prep period. So I knew it was gonna be fine, but I still hate that feeling nonetheless. But I survived, I made it, and I'm already back to being like overwhelmed with the amount of things I have to do. So I just recapped what I did over spring break. Nothing special. You didn't miss anything there. I didn't even really do much on TikTok or Instagram because I really just took a break. So today, when I was putting things together and doing a very light amount of lesson planning over the weekend, and really looked at where we were headed in both language arts and social studies / history, I was like, these poor kids, it's gonna get dark in here for a minute. Like, cause everything that we're covering is kind of a heavy topic. So on Mondays, we always do the weekend wrap. At this point, about every other week, we do an article of the week. So the weekend wrap from last Friday, I think, talked about the Ukraine. So I found an article on Newsela or News ELA. I'm not sure which one I'm supposed to say. I'll probably always say Newsela because that's how it was first introduced to me. I found an article that just explains and talks about why Russia is invading the Ukraine. And I think it's important for kids at this age to at least try and get a little bit of understanding of what's going on, including for myself, because I don't fully know all the ins and outs of it, but just for them to be aware of like what's going on in the world, because this is a pretty significant news story. Speaking of current events, my kids really wanted to know what I thought about Will Smith at the Oscars. If you didn't see it, at this point, I don't know how you wouldn't have seen it and or heard about it, but Chris Rock made a joke about Jada Pinkett Smith not having any hair. She has alopecia. Will Smith didn't appreciate that, apparently, walked up on stage, slapped him on live TV, sat back down, and then cussed him out. And I think most of America, as well as the people in that room, initially thought it was a joke because the way Will Smith walked off the stage, it seemed like he was smiling. But then when I was reading his lips as he was yelling to Chris Rock, I realized, no, this is not a joke. And I was looking at the reactions of people around him, and it was clear it was not a joke. And so my kids really wanted to know what I thought about that. And I said, while I appreciate Will wanting to defend his wife and his wife's honor, there were just so many other things he could have done. So many other ways to go about it. You can give someone a look of like, don't, like, I got something to say to you afterwards. And so I was just really just disappointed and shocked because Will Smith is someone that really has worked to build a career of positivity and promoting positivity, and it just seems so out of character for him that I was just like stunned. And on a broader scale, like social wise, and I even said this to my kids, in society where there's so much ignorance about different backgrounds and groups, what we don't need is one black man slapping another black man on an international stage. Like, that was, after being shook, that was my first thought, like, no. Like, this doesn't help the cause, this doesn't help the people in any way. So We talked about that a little bit. So the article of the week is focused on the Ukraine. We will be going through this article and kind of looking at it multiple times throughout the week. So that's what we did there. So talking about Russia invading the Ukraine is kind of like a downer. And then we're moving on to the next excerpt in Study Sync, which is The Boy in the Striped Pajamas, which is another downer. But what I like about the fact that these two things are happening at the same time is that this article kind of parallels what's happening in the Ukraine to what was going on during World War II. And I like when like something that is current can kind of overlap or intertwine with something in the past, or when two subject matters can kind of find some commonality. So that's happened. My only issue with the excerpt of Boy in the Striped Pajamas from Study Sync is it is just the most random chapter for them to put in this book, because you need some background information on what had happened prior to the scene that we're seeing for it to make any sense. So every time I do this, and by every time I mean the past 2 years, because I didn't do this my first year teaching 8th grade because I didn't know any better, but the past 2 years, before we even read the excerpt, I show them. This year I added this. I showed them a video that I found on YouTube that kind of talks about Auschwitz and the process of what was going on when the Jewish people arrived to the concentration camps. So they really understood what these concentration camps were doing. And then right after that, I gave them a very brief verbal background information on the book, let them know who the main characters were, where the book was set, when it was set, and then I showed them the opening scene of the movie The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. And so I showed them that, and with that clip, and I have what I created for myself, which I find very helpful with keeping myself organized, is I just have a playlist on YouTube that is titled Boy in the Striped Pajamas, and it has all the clips that I know I want to use or show. And so the first one I show them is the clip that is titled Moving to the Country. This is where they meet Bruno and his family, and with that clip I just asked them to just take a look and tell me what they notice. What do you think the author and movie director in this case wants you to understand about Bruno and his family? So when you watch the clip, after watching it, they should recognize that Bruno and his family are wealthy or privileged, that the father is in the military and is high ranking, that they are supporters of Hitler, and that, you know, Bruno doesn't really seem to have any full awareness of exactly what his dad does in the military, and in many ways his wife doesn't really seem to know at this point. And just for the sake of like inferencing and comprehension, there's a scene where they show Bruno's grandma, her facial reaction to the news that the family's moving to the countryside, which is where this concentration camp is. The director shows her face, and if you're paying attention, you should infer that the grandmother does not fully support what Bruno's father is doing. So we watch that clip, we talk about what we noticed, the kids pick up on those things, and then the next clip I show them is when Bruno meets Shmuel, which is the Jewish character in the story. And then right after that, I show them the scene where Shmuel tells Bruno that he's Jewish. And we talk about Bruno's reaction to that. And then I didn't do this last year. I did this for the first time this year and I liked it, so we'll do it again. After watching all those clips, I asked them to compare and contrast the two characters. And before watching the clips, I did let them know you're going to want to jot down some notes because I'm going to ask you some questions. So with the first clip, I said you want to just jot down what you notice. What do you see? What does the author want you to realize, or the director want you to realize about Bruno and his family? And then with the other clips I just referenced, I asked them to just think about, based on what you see in these scenes, what are some adjectives that you would use to describe Bruno and Shmuel, and made sure that they knew I'm talking about personality traits. Like, I don't want you to tell me what they're wearing, but I want you to tell me how would you describe them as people based on these conversations these two boys are having. And so they did that, and then I had them come up to my Samsung board and they got to write on that, and that always is an engagement tool. They just like writing on it. And then we talk about what they have in common. So after, and that took really the whole class period. So at the end of that, I said, tomorrow we're gonna read, what is this right here? I told them, I don't know what I just did. Hold on a second, let me see if my audio is still working. It is not. I think I just knocked something out. That tomorrow we're going to read the excerpt, and I tell them that in this scene, Shmuel finds himself in Bruno's house because he's doing work, and there's this confrontation that occurs, and Bruno kind of has to decide how he's going to handle it now that he knows that Shmuel is Jewish, and Bruno at least knows enough that he's not supposed to interact or be friends with Jewish people. So that's what we did in language arts, and like I said, that took the entire time. I'm happy with the way that went out or played out in class, and on top of all that, it was raining today. So, but yeah. And then the funnest part of this whole day was we got an email right at the end of break that told us we wouldn't have a prep period this morning because we had a meeting on iReady data, and no one was pleased about that, especially because some of us aren't even done giving the iReady test. So I didn't have prep today, which was adding to my anxiety as I was getting dressed in the morning. So there's that. I need to stop because now there's buzzing in my classroom because I knocked a cord out of its place. So I'm gonna fix that, and I may or may not check in with you some more before I go home. So see you when I see you. Morning. It's 7:19. I just got to work. I was gonna check in with you when I left, before I left yesterday, and then I forgot because I wanted to show you some slight classroom redecorating that I did. And when I say slight, I mean really slight. But I forgot, and I left and got home. I just got here. It's Taylor's birthday, so I stopped and got her and me and our RSP support teachers some donuts for her birthday, and then I bought her a very small little thing for her birthday that I'll give to her later. I'll try and remember to have her open it on camera so you guys can see what it is, but it's something small, but it's something that she really needs. So yeah, I'm just here to say good morning. I'm about to get my day, or about to get everything set up. I'll share with you what we're going to do a little bit later, because I like to try and use this time before school as like my quiet time, and my battery is dying. So good morning, and I'll see you later. It's Taylor's birthday. She's gonna get her donut first.
Oh my gosh.
I bought enough for RSP because at the donut shop, if you use your card, it's a 50-cent charge, or there's like a minimum.
Oh yeah, and so then you're like, this is like, for you to make me get.
Okay, so I guess I'll get a half dozen donuts.
Okay, for my present.
Yeah.
Here.
It looks like it's a tennis bracelet.
I know, you're like, ooh, an apple one?
Don't break your nail. You want some scissors?
Here.
Oh my.
I feel bad. Now I'm going to cut the whole box of tape. We're just going to go for it. Also, my hands are freezing. Let's just cut there. Oh my gosh, this is like the most dramatic grand reveal ever. Okay. What is this? Yes. Yes. The silverware that I never have.
It's reusable silverware.
Because I never have silverware. Thank you.
Something here for lunch. It's like,
so thoughtful.
Oh shoot, I don't have a fork.
I'm like, and I'm forkless. And little chopsticks.
Little chopsticks. So, That's her birthday present. I was like, something little that, you know, I know she needs.
That she obviously can't handle bringing her own silverware.
So happy birthday, Taylor. It's now about 4 o'clock. I'm just taking a break from sitting at my computer and grading. And I currently don't know if I'm gonna go home and cook or go home and order food. I'm supposed to exercise on Tuesdays. I might skip that because I don't want to ruin my hair for my birthday, and I have a baby shower. My sister-in-law's baby shower is on Saturday, and I'd rather not just have to throw my hair up in a ponytail because I've sweated out with exercising, so we'll see. But I feel really bad at the thought of not exercising because I'll be going out to dinner a couple times this week and quite possibly eating dessert, so I feel like I should be exercising to mitigate that problem, but I don't know. I also feel like I can just cut myself some slack because it's my birthday week. But today, I just realized I changed the slides, so I can't show you the slides, but today in both classes for social studies, we didn't do, well, we did a little bit of history. For history, I showed them this video. Let me see if I can find it, that I found on YouTube that I felt it was necessary to show before we moved into the next unit in TCI, which is the history book that is new to us. The next unit in TCI is unit 16, and this one is now talking about what life was actually like for the settlers once they had officially moved west, and it focuses on 8 different groups of people that settled. And I feel like between unit 15, where we're talking about westward expansion and manifest destiny, and then jumping to unit 16 where they are now there and established, the book really kind of skims over the effect that that had on Native Americans, which I don't love. And I think a lot of history books have done that. And so luckily last year I had been putting things together myself. And so I found this video on YouTube. It is from the Smithsonian, and it's about 12.5 minutes long, and it's called The Indian Problem. It's just in, I'm just showing it to you for my history, but I do the same thing with history videos as I do at Study Sync. I just have different playlists. Some of them are like, some videos are in the wrong place. And some of them, when I found them and I couldn't figure out which folder I wanted them to be in, I just put them in this very general folder that says social studies and history, which is where I think this one is. So that video is about 12 minutes long, and it talks about, like, what I wanted the kids to understand is that, okay, we're expanding west, we're talking about manifest destiny, and in each of these territories, we just finished talking about Florida, Louisiana, Texas, the Mexican-American War, etc. There is reference to the idea that the United States was, in some cases, making treaties with different Native American groups, but in other cases, just acquiring land because of battles or money being spent. Which is true, but I wanted them to understand that we get to a point as a country where a big portion of why we were able to expand and exist and build a nation in the West is because we eventually just started pushing out Native Americans or giving them the choice to remain where they are. And so this video reviews that concept and touches again on manifest destiny and lets kids know that Native Americans at this time were really presented with 2 main choices. Like, you can maintain your sovereignty or maintain your way of life with your tribe here in the land that we are coming into. But if you do that, I just lost my train of thought. But you can maintain your family and your familial ties here in the land that we are moving into, but if you do that, you have to assimilate. I think I misspoke earlier. If they stayed there, they could not maintain their culture and their way of life. But if they wanted to physically maintain where they were and stick with their family and the group that they had been with, they could stay, but they had to assimilate to American ways of life. If they did not want to assimilate to American ways of life, then they had to move further west in the area that we weren't necessarily looking to have at that time. So the video tells them about that, and also talks about the Trail of Tears and again, reviews a little bit of Manifest Destiny. So we watched that, we discussed it, and I always like to tie this kind of stuff into current problems that Native Americans are facing. So I said, you know, one of the big concerns in the Native American community is there's a lot of mental health issues, there's a lot of alcoholism, drug abuse, things like that. And I said, and a lot of that stems from this, even though it's hundreds of years ago. I said some of these behaviors like alcoholism, drug abuse, a lot of times ends up being generational. So if back then you have people that have gone through this traumatic experience and they are coping with it by drinking or abusing drugs, and then they have kids and they're raising kids and that's what kids are seeing, that may be something that kids emulate as they grow into adults. And so we talked about that, and also about the idea of this is why we have things called reservations, all resulting from this. So we did that in history. We also read the article of the week today, which was on explaining why Russia has invaded the Ukraine, and we talked about that quite a bit. I handled this article differently. I don't have it with me, but it's the one from Newsella, because I told the class that this is probably the most current event that we've covered in class. Up until this point, every Newsella article that we've read is related to a topic in vocabulary, in the weekend wrap of vocabulary, but it's not something that's like super present in the news. Whereas this is super present in the news, and kids have probably heard about it and seen it on the news at home. So we really took our time with that article. I feel like by the end of it, a good portion of the class had a very basic understanding of why Russia invaded the Ukraine, including myself, because I learned as I was reading this article and really like breaking it down. So a lot of them understand that, you know, Putin has decided to invade the Ukraine because he believes this portion that he's invading really belongs to Russia, and that in some ways Russia is the Ukraine and the Ukraine is Russia, and that's the excuse he's using because there's these two republics right near the Russian border, and so he's reclaiming something that really already belongs to Russia. So we read that, talked about that. And then in Study Sync, we listened to the excerpt, Boy in the Striped Pajamas. It's the scene in the book where Bruno and Shmuel are together in Bruno's house. Shmuel is cleaning some glasses. Bruno offers him some food. Lieutenant Cutler comes in, catches Bruno and Shmuel talking, and then gets in Shmuel's face. And Bruno denies knowing who Shmuel is. So we read it, we talked about it so I could make sure they understood what happened, and then we watched the movie interpretation of that scene. And again, to this day, I would love to talk to the people at Study Sync. I don't understand how they would expect a student who's not read the book at all or seen the movie at all to really have a firm understanding of what is really happening in this chapter. It's so odd to me, but luckily there's materials out there that you can supplement and build background for students. So we did that in both classes, and that was really it. So right now I'm just getting ready for tomorrow. Well, actually I'm not doing that anymore. I finished getting ready for tomorrow and just working on taking all these quizzes that my kids made in their history groups and turning it into one big test on a Google form. And I also need to make sub-plans. That's on my list of things to do. I have to submit something for a social media collaboration. And I need to make an article of the week quiz. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna get all that done today, but I'm gonna get a lot of it. No, I'm gonna get some of it done. I don't know if it's gonna be a lot or a little. The other thing I wanted to show you, I meant to show you yesterday. Did I show this? This morning feels like so long ago. I'm not sure if I showed it, but here is some redecorating that I did. I added this sign up here. This is from Target. Says work hard, be nice. I rearranged my collegiate flags here. They were just in a slightly different position. And then the other thing I'm going to do, once my dear friend and teaching partner puts this together, is I bought one of these, it's upside down, but I bought one of these 6 cube shelves, and my vision is I'm going to take these get it built, and I'm going to line about 6 of these up against the wall, and those will become cute little cubbies for my 8th graders where they will store their empty backpacks, their cell phones, and anything else that might distract them during the day, because it does become a distraction, and there's a lot of bodies in this room, and I've grown really tired of tripping over backpacks. So he's agreed to put one of those together for me so that I can test to see if it fits the way I want it to fit, and if it does, that's what we're doing. The 8th graders are not thrilled about that idea, but oh well. So anyway, that's what's been up. The day went well, it was fine, and now I'm just going to continue to do some more work. Good morning, it's 7:15 on Wednesday. I don't know where. And I'm in my car, but right outside my condo, because I need to get back in the habit of putting a lip gloss on. I spent the past couple of years not wearing it because I couldn't with the mask on, and I just realized the other day we need to get back to that. Oh, I feel like this is going to be a mistake. To finish my little makeup situation. Hold on. I need to really concentrate because I don't know what I've just done here. Oh God. You know what? I might have to talk to you guys later because this ain't working out. I'll talk to you guys later. Okay. I'm back. I'm not sure if I fixed the situation. The light in the car right now makes it difficult for me to tell. But when I get in my classroom and look, I'll know. And I'll try and show you what I initially put on, and then immediately said, nope, that's not gonna work. There's nothing wrong with the lip gloss that I initially put on. It's just been so long that I forgot that it's a lip gloss that you really need some lip liner with, like the color that I have, because if not, it doesn't really look right. It looks like it makes me look like I don't have any lips, is basically what I'm trying to say, if I don't use lip liner with it. So I took some of that off, and then I added a different lip gloss on top of it. I will try and remember to show you the two at some point. Not that this is a makeup channel and I'm a makeup expert. But I initially turned the camera on just to say good morning, check in for the day, because I'm not sure how active I'll be on camera today because I need to make my sub plans. I didn't get that done yesterday because I'm going to be out tomorrow, because tomorrow's my birthday and we don't work on our birthday, and it's my mom's birthday, and we don't even have anything really big planned tomorrow. We're going to have breakfast, we have a pedicure, we're going to get our free Starbucks, and a lot of times we go shopping, and I think all I'm really looking for are like a few makeup items, like a couple of lip glosses, maybe some cute earrings, and I think she has a couple of little things she wants to get. But when we take the day off for our birthday, it's not because we always have elaborate plans, it's just like it's her birthday, so we don't work. So I want to get my sub plans done and use my time wisely while I'm at school today. Not that talking to you guys is not using my time wisely, but you know what I mean. So yeah, but yesterday when I left work, I know I checked in, but I didn't get my sub plans made. There was a quiz that I wanted to make for the article of the week to use on Friday, and I didn't get to that because I needed to get home, because I needed to submit something for a collaboration that I'm doing, and it had to be submitted by yesterday evening. So I left because that ended up being a priority. I didn't end up cooking because by the time I got home and walked Riley and submitted what I needed to submit and figured out what I was going to be wearing today and got all that ironed, it was just about 8 o'clock. So I didn't cook. I ended up going to Waba Grill and got 2 plant-based steak bowls. So I tried to keep it healthy. I had to get 2 because since I didn't cook last night, that means I don't have lunch today, or I wouldn't have lunch today. So the second bowl that I got is for my lunch today. And so I ate dinner much later than I wanted to, and so I decided to go to bed a little bit later than normal. I went to bed at 10:30 instead of 10, but then I allowed myself to wake up a half hour later so that I got enough rest. And that brings me to this moment in time where I'm just about at work. So good morning. I'll definitely show you what we're doing today, because I think that I'm going to be introducing the next project that goes along with the next unit of study in history, and it should be interesting. I think the kids will be into it just based on how they reacted to making these videos for the last unit. So I'll show that to you. And again, these aren't my ideas. This is coming directly from the textbook. So I definitely want to show that to you if I introduce it, and then we'll do a little bit more with Boy in the Striped Pajamas, and I'll talk about that then. So really just good morning. Happy Wednesday for me, and happy whatever day it is for you. And I'll talk to you guys a little bit later on today. I almost walked out and didn't check in with you guys today. I literally was about to walk out the door. It's 5:48. And it's been a busy day. Overall, it's been good. I'm just here late because I just finished up my sub plans. I had a meeting after school, and then there was some drama in one of my classes, so I was getting caught up on that. So I'm really just here because I wanted to show you what we did with history today and social studies. We didn't get to language arts at all because we talked a lot more about our article of the week on the Ukraine and Russia, so that took a little bit longer, which is fine because I want to make sure they feel like they kind of understand what's going on. And so we just focused on history because I wanted to make sure to introduce the unit so that I can introduce the project when I come back on Friday, or possibly Monday, because on Friday one class has earned a party, the other class has not, so I may not even talk about the project at all come Friday, but whatever. So unit 16, we're talking about life in the West. I think I told you that this morning. The essential question in this unit is, what were the motives, hardships, and legacies of groups that moved west in the 1800s? Everything that I have on this slide is coming directly from TCI. I'm just making it prettier because I can't help myself sometimes. So the first thing that that the book has them do, and I'll show it to you when I log back in just a second, is they listen to this song called Sweet Betsy from Pike. And then as they're listening, they need to kind of take mental note. I had them like jot down notes as they were listening to answer these 5 questions. What is the mood of the song? Where is Sweet Betsy going? What are some hardships she faces? Why would she and other pioneers like her want to face these hardships? And then what kind of legacies did pioneers like her leave behind? And I always just find the word pioneers in this context interesting. So on TCI, I think I accidentally logged out of that site, so let me log back in really quickly. And I'm gonna go home, and you know what, guys, I don't know if I'm gonna cook today either. I just am really feeling like I shouldn't have to do anything extra the week of my birthday. Not that cooking is extra. I still don't know if I'm gonna exercise because my hair is really a cause for pause. So if I do eat out, it needs to be something healthy because I'm really slacking here. But it's okay. It's okay to slack once in a while. So these are the preview activities from TCI. So the way that this is designed, before you get into the lesson, you just kind of preview some things to kind of get them set and ready to go. So they provided the song and the lyrics. I'll play a little bit of it, and I was just joking with my kids. I said, guys, when you hear this song, you are going to want to add this to your Spotify playlist because it is fire. So here's a little sample of it.
Shanghai rooster and one spotted hawk, singing toodle-lie, oodle-lie, oodle-lie, singing toodle-lie, oodle-lie, oodle-lie.
So that is a little sample of it. The song is almost let's just say it's 5 minutes long. It's 4 minutes and 58 seconds. And so as the song is playing, I'm obviously projecting that on the screen so they have access to the lyrics while they listen. And so at the end, they should realize that although Sweet Betsy goes through a lot of things, she's moving west, she ends up in California, and my battery's about to die. The song is uplifting. It's not like somber or depressing or discouraging. So we talked about the song and talked about the hardships she faced along the way based on the lyrics, and talk about the fact that she ends up in California, and talk about why people wanted to move west. I did have to remind them that people were moving west because there are promises of wealth, and that at this time, you know, you were really extremely wealthy, or you were really just not wealthy at all, so people were really enticed by that. So we listened to the song. I'm talking really fast because the battery. And then we looked at a piece of art. I can't remember it, but the art that they're showing behind the lyrics is the piece of art, and we compared the art and the mood of the art piece to the mood of the song itself. So that's really what we did in both classes, aside from talk about the article of the week and talk about why what's going on in the Ukraine should matter to them as individuals, to matter to them and their communities that they identify with, and why it should matter to the world. So the battery's gonna die, so I'm gonna go ahead and stop talking for today. That was short and sweet, but I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you tomorrow. Probably not through here, but maybe on Instagram or TikTok. So hopefully you're following me so that you can see. And if not, maybe you can go back and see. So see you tomorrow. All right, it's 8:53. It's been a bit of a hectic morning. My prep is just about over. I was in the office for quite a bit. First, here's the meme that I am. I'll try and show you a little bit better, probably later today when I can take this off all the way. But I wanted to show you this Google form that I'm going to use as the April Fool's joke. Again, this was a Teachers Pay Teachers product. I can't remember the name of the person, but I will try and link it later. So this is not editable, but everything else on here, or the first two parts are. So I just titled this one History Check-In and told them, like, I'm just checking in to make sure they understand everything. So the very beginning of the Google form, you want to make it look as realistic as possible, make it look like any Google forms you've given them before. So I made sure that I had first name, last name sections, which class are they in. And then the first two questions, oh, wait. Okay, I had to fix something, and it's a good thing I went and looked because I was missing something. So mine is just called a history check-in. These first three sections are always something that I put on Google Forms when I give it to them. And the first three questions, this one wasn't fixed, have to be like believable. They have to sound like something that they would actually be taking a quiz on or filling out a form for. So my first question is, what group of people were expanding west in the 1800s? And in the template, she tells you that you need to have the right answer here, and then these other two answers need to be incorrect. And if they mark these, it's going to bump them to section 8, which she's already created for you. If they answer this, it's going to bump them to section 11, which she's already created. And even if they answer it right, it's going to bump them to section 2, like it's going to dictate where they go. And then the second question, again, is still a real one. Why were settlers moving west in the 1800s? This is the right answer. If they pick that, it'll send them to this section. If they get it wrong, it'll just throw them back to section 1 where it says history check-in, and they have to answer that question again. And then this is another real question. What was the idea behind Manifest Destiny? And these first three questions, you can put in whatever you want. Like, those are editable. If they get it right, it sends them to section 4. If they get it wrong, they go back to section 2. And these questions I'm asking should be pretty easy, so they should get them right no matter what. And then the rest of it is just questions that she's made up, like, how are there more doors or wheels? Then they do like a little Wordle puzzle. What word should you start with? Then there's a picture of Zendaya, like, and it just goes on and on and on and on. So I think I'm just gonna set a timer somewhere between 5 to 7 minutes and just let them work on it and just see how long it takes before they're like, what in the world is going on here? And I'll try and blog that process. So that'll be my little April Fool's shenanigans there. So I'll try and vlog that. We'll see what happens. But yeah, the bell's about to ring. I need to get ready for my elective class. And I might have a student from last year presenting to the class, which it looks like I will. So I gotta go. At least have a Chromebook, but I want your Chromebook closed because kids get distracted by opening Chromebook. 1, 2, 3. Anthony, you two are in the wrong seat. I don't know. I find zero humor in students being in seats that they know that does not belong to them. Zero humor. Okay. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, close your Chromebook so that you're listening to the directions. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to have you do, close it all the way up. Close it. Mr. Robinson.
Little cocoa butter fat.
Uh-huh. No, I think we're good. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye. I'm gonna have you do the Google form first in just a second. Like, we are going to move into a new unit. Before I start planning and making sure I get all the details together for the project that you're doing, I need to make sure that we all have like just the basic understandings of what we learned so far. It's a very quick form. If you've been paying attention, you shouldn't have any problems filling it out. So you're gonna fill that in, and when you finish with that, then you're gonna go on to the article of the week, the 3 whys, which is something we didn't get to on Wednesday because we spent more time doing something else, okay? So the quick history check-in goes first. The 3 whys will be next. While you're working on your history check-in, I will add that 3 whys assignment to Google Classroom. It's not there yet, so you won't find it. Are there any questions? Callie?
The think questions from yesterday, when are those due?
Probably next week.
Okay. Are we gonna do all 5?
Yes.
Well, I thought we only did 3. She said that we
I did 3.
No, there in the subnote it said, I told them these are 3 questions they need to be listening and annotating for. The last 2 questions are like vocabulary-based questions.
Okay.
So it's not necessarily related. We all understand what you're doing. Okay, the Google form is on Google Classroom. I think I titled it History Check-In. Made the correct choice.
Is there a difference?
It's what we always
Dude, there's not a difference. Is there a difference?
I can't tell you guys the answer because I need to know what you know. I need to know what you know.
To know about what?
I need to know what you know so that I know how to lesson plan for next week.
Miss Lawrence, this is the correct answer.
I'm Miss Robinson.
Oh, Miss Robinson. Yeah, good cool.
No. Oh, it's not a touch screen. It's class party time. I don't even know if you can hear me because there's chaos happening over there. About 45 minutes left.
The sun is in it.
Currently there are people giving each other piggyback rides. Kids are yelling at each other. Okay, it is the end. Oh, I thought I missed something. It is the end of the day. It is 4:15. The only reason I'm still here is because Taylor and I were just having fun making a couple of TikToks together for meme day. I will just show you the Instagram post that I made so that you can get the full picture. The only name that I have for this meme is Black Lady Squinting. There's no official name besides that, but I'll make sure to put it, an image of it here, and then I will show you what Taylor was because I think she's dissembled herself by this point. So we were just having fun sharing that on our social media accounts. And now we're going home. I was supposed to go to happy hour, not happy hour, just like an early dinner with a friend of mine, but she had some medical things come up, so she had to reschedule. So I'm just gonna go home now and indulge in the weekend. It's gonna be a busy weekend, but in a good way. That's my phone. My sister is coming into town tomorrow because my brother and sister-in-law's baby shower is tomorrow. And then we're gonna have some family time. We're gonna celebrate me and my mother's birthday then, because it's been a while since we've been able to celebrate with my sister. And that'll be Saturday. And then the baby shower is Saturday, the breakfast we're gonna do is Sunday, and then I'll be back here on Monday. So that's it. The April Fool's joke went well. That's what I was supposed to tell you about. I had a student that figured it out like really quick, but I just denied it for a while, just to kind of let the other kids experience the joke in and of itself. Like within the first couple minutes, she was like, this has to be an April Fool's joke because this is like not going anywhere. So it was fun, and a couple of them were like, I don't think this is real, but then they started to convince themselves, a couple of them did at least, that these questions were somehow related to what we had been learning in history and social studies, even though they were really obscure, because I think there was some question that had something to do with wagons. Someone said, well, they did have wagons on the Oregon Trail. And then that transitioned into them thinking that there was some strategy to get these questions right. So even when I said, no, it's just an April Fool's joke and that there is no end to this Google form, a couple of them just didn't believe that it would never end. Like there was never gonna come a point where they could submit it and say that they finished the form. So that was fun and easy. So that is it. I got some footage of it. I don't know the quality of it, but if it was good enough for you to understand, I'll insert it. But other than that, I'm glad I survived my first week back from spring break. And now it's just gonna be survival mode going forward for the next couple of months. And yeah, just gonna take it one day at a time. So I hope that you enjoyed this week's vlog. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. If you're not following me on Instagram or TikTok, you can follow me and find me on both of those at Smarty Style. And as always, I hope that you guys are well. And if you're not well, please be well. And I will see you guys in the next vlog.